Hey everybody, welcome back. Happy Sunday. This week I wanted to talk about something that I'm really excited about, something that discovered this week about bass pickups. And the reason I was looking into that is because I have a new bass, a Schecter Model T Exotic 5. I haven't had a passive bass in a while, and I haven't had a bass with two pickups in a while. And the challenge that I ran into, which I'm sure a lot of you have encountered forever since pickups have been around, is that hum, that single coil, particularly jazz bass pickup hum that happens, right? The P bass pickups are hum canceling. They're humbucker pickups basically. But the single coils generally are fairly loud, especially when they are more vintage style. There are those noiseless pickups, but for the rest of us that don't have those, we can encounter this. The challenge I also have these days is play really loud with a lot of effects. Not always on, but I go through a myriad of things. I play in a prog rock band, three-piece prog rock band, Well of Wishes. I'll put the description website down below for you guys to check out. And so it's much more pronounced when you have overdrive or distortion or different modulations and effects going on. Even a compressor will really bump that up. A lot of compressors are kind of noisy, and if your bass is already a little noisy, and you're going to compound that with that situation. So I was excited to try to figure out a possible solution, and what I ran into was a video by Rob Mods from about 8 months ago, where he talks about how to fix a buzzing jazz bass pickup. It's a long video, about 26 minutes. It goes into a lot of detail about the electronics of pickups, which not all of us might be interested. I am interested. Side note, my day job is building pickups. Been doing it for a few years, and I really enjoy it, and I'm still learning a lot about what happens with them and how they work. It's still a lot of magic and smoke and mirrors, but I found it really interesting because I know that there's just been a problem forever, like I said before, with those humming pickups. So I figured, why not talk about it today? Especially because I was so stoked that I seemed to figure out some sort of solution that I did not come up with, but that I became aware of this week that really has helped me. So I found this video by Rob Mods, like I said, watched it. Watch the whole thing if you're into the science of everything. If you just want to get to the meat and potatoes of it all, at about 20 minutes, he talks about what's worked for him, basically, is when he's installing the pickups back in his bass, swapping the leads. So on each pickup, it's a 2-wire system for the vintage style jazz pickups. You're going to have a colored wire, often it's white, sometimes it's yellow, maybe purple, something like that, and a black. The black is going to be ground, the other color will be the hot. That will be the start of the wind. Usually that goes to one of the tabs on the pot in your bass, and the other one will get grounded inside. And so what he described is taking those two leads and swapping them. And so ostensibly what that does is it insulates the coil a little better. So instead of the insulation being really shallow because you're going to tape and potentially wax the pickup, instead the whole coil of the pickup is going to be insulating from the poles, and that part is going to be grounded versus the end of the coil, which will be grounded. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys. Please look it up. But I know that for me, it made a difference. Got this bass, built some new pickups for it. I actually work at Schecter. Not that it has to do anything with this. They don't know that I'm making this video. It's not endorsed. I just happen to be in that position. I build pickups for them. That's what my day job is. So I built some new pickups for it. Put them in, did this experiment, and voila, it seems to have really worked. So If you're interested and you're looking for a solution, that might be something that you want to check out, is opening up your bass, swapping the leads. It's pretty simple on something like this. If you're not super confident, maybe talk to your tech or whoever you have that does the work on your guitars for you, and do some experimentation. On a lot of these, it really takes opening up the back with a soldering iron, swapping a couple wires. The important thing to note though too is, if you're going to do it to the one pickup, like the bridge pickup, do it to the other one. Pickups are wired and magnetized in phase with each other, and if you flip one out of phase, you're going to have havoc with a lot more noise, or potentially not great sound. When pickups are out of phase, they lose their intensity and their beef, so you don't want to do that. So on a bass like this, you would not only need to swap the leads on the jazz pickup, but swap the leads on the P pickup. I did that. No noticeable sound in tone. I know that was one concern when talking to some people, is maybe that would change the tone of the bass and of the pickups. Didn't notice any of that, and I've been playing every day since through various devices and amps. And also running the pickup, the bass, through a lot of my effects, just to double check to make sure that I just still don't have that noise. And it is markedly better, almost non-existent. So what I'm gonna do now is pause the video, pick up the bass. I have the bass going right into an interface into my computer, record some samples. I'll mess around with the EQ on the bass a little bit so you can see, and go from there. Okay, so this is the bass. This is with everything all the way up, tone and volume on both pickups. Pretty nice punchy sound. If I take the jazz pickup off, it's got a little bit of noise, but not terrible. Nice sounding pickup. Here's the jazz by itself. So it's a good sounding bass, and like I said, I usually play with them both up. It's got a nice bottom end, it's got some cut. There is, like with any two pickup bass, inherent sort of scoop, but I think the beef of both pickups makes up for that. I also tend to run an overdrive as my always on, gives it a little, and then I run a compressor as well. I do that a little bit differently. I put the compressor at the end of my chain because I find that really brings everything together. So all the modulation that can tend to drop out, or helps rein in some of the other heavier effects like some fuzz and other things. It just seems to give it an overall sheen together that I really, really enjoy. So that's how I do it. I know a lot of people like to put their compressor first, which is totally fine. Do whatever you need to do. Whatever to your ears sounds the best. Anyways, so that's kind of what this bass sounds like. If I let go of the strings, you'll hear that is the jazz by itself. Tone up. If I roll the tone off, totally quiet. But it's not overly aggressively loud sound like it was. And then when I turn the P on by itself, the tone all the way up, basically dead quiet. Put it back up. Roll the tone off. P, J. Some of it also has to do with the cables you're using and some other things. You get weird stuff in your electricity in your house. So if you're playing with a band and you do things differently at home than you do at rehearsal, my suggestion would be don't totally go on based on what it's like at home. get as close as you possibly can, and then go to rehearsal and see how it goes. It's going to be a lot different sound-wise based on the room, the size of your amp. I know when I'm home, I'm generally playing through an interface quietly so that my family isn't bothered. I play late at night sometimes, you know, so I'm not disturbing people. When I do play with an amp here, it's generally a small practice amp, but I have my bigger rig at the rehearsal space. It sounds markedly different when I go there. So I rely mostly on that. I get as close as I can when I'm home. I take it to rehearsal and I figure it out there. Because also I'm by myself. I don't have a drummer or a guitar player here. When I go there, it changes everything. To demonstrate the sort of tonal range of this bass a little bit, if I take the control, the tone control all the way down, it's very, there's a wide range of tones. So you can get very dubby if you want. So if I want to take the jazz pickup out and just do the P with no tone, right? So if you're into some like dub or reggae type tones, that could be a good one for you. If I bring everything back up, just the J. Just the P again. Also, the 35-inch scale of this bass gives the B a really nice tone. It's not flubby and floppy and muddy like in a lot of basses. I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, man, that's kind of where we're at with this thing. Any questions or anything, please hit me up below. I'll put some links to some stuff like I said before, and I'll see you next time.